If you use ATMs, you need to know about this right now. 5 people just got arrested for stealing PIN codes at machines across multiple states.
They say scammers are now drilling a hole in the sensor where you then tap your card to pay, so that forces you to swipe your card, then putting you at risk for getting ripped off.
They weren't hacking the bank's system, they were watching you type. And their method is spreading to ATMs everywhere. Federal authorities have just announced the arrest of 5 individuals involved in one of the largest ATM skimming operations in recent history. The suspects were caught after a 6-month investigation spanning 4 states and leaving behind thousands of victims. The damage? Over $2 million stolen directly from checking accounts through sophisticated PIN capture devices. Most victims had no warning signs. They simply woke up to completely drained bank accounts. What makes this case particularly alarming is how long the operation went undetected. For nearly 8 months, this crew systematically targeted high-traffic ATMs at banks, gas stations, and convenience stores across the country. They didn't look suspicious, just ordinary people making quick stops at ATMs, but they were actually installing nearly invisible overlay devices and micro cameras. The victims cross all demographics. Elderly retirees lost pension deposits within hours. Working professionals had entire paychecks vanish overnight. College students suddenly couldn't access funds for tuition payments. In one particularly devastating case, a family of 4 had their entire savings of $13,000 withdrawn in a single weekend through ATMs in 3 different states, while they were at home, completely unaware. Alright, now let's break down exactly how this PIN code theft operation worked and why thousands of people never saw it coming. The invisible overlay trick is their primary weapon. These criminals use razor-thin plastic overlays that fit perfectly on top of the real ATM keypad. When you press a button, you're actually pressing through this overlay, which records every number. The technology is so advanced that the overlay feels identical to normal ATM buttons. There's no extra resistance or sponginess that would tip you off. Even worse, these devices transmit data wirelessly to criminals sitting in cars nearby, collecting your PIN in real time. Next is the micro camera setup. These aren't bulky surveillance cameras, they're tiny pinhole devices, often no bigger than a pencil eraser, hidden inside fake card readers or decorative elements of the ATM. They're positioned at the perfect angle to capture your PIN entry from above or the side. Most are disguised to look like legitimate ATM components, maintenance panels, brochure holders, or even fake security camera housings. The resolution is high enough to clearly identify which numbers you're pressing. The third component is the skimmer device itself. This is a counterfeit card reader placed directly over the real slot. When you insert your card, it passes through this fake reader first, which captures all the data from your magnetic stripe before allowing the card to continue into the real ATM. These skimmers are manufactured to look identical to legitimate card readers, often using the same colors, materials, and even brand logos. Combined with your captured PIN, criminals now have everything they need for complete account access. What makes this crew particularly effective was their quick strike method. They installed devices during low traffic hours, usually between 3 to 5 a.m. The wireless technology allowed them to collect data remotely for 24 to 48 hours without returning to the scene. They'd create duplicate cards immediately using portable magnetic stripe writers and begin draining accounts before most victims even checked their balances. The consequences of falling victim to this scam can be devastating. The immediate financial impact goes beyond just losing money. Your entire checking account can be emptied within hours, often triggering cascading overdraft fees as criminals continue attempting withdrawals. Automatic payments for bills, mortgages, or car payments bounce, creating additional penalty fees and potential service disruptions. The damage to your credit score from these missed payments can linger for years. The bank response reality is often frustrating. Many financial institutions initially deny fraud claims for ATM transactions because they show your actual card was used with the correct PIN. Customer authorized transaction is the standard response many victims hear. The recovery process typically takes 60 to 90 days minimum, with extensive documentation required and no guarantee of full reimbursement, especially for transactions over certain thresholds. Long-term consequences extend beyond the initial theft. PIN theft frequently leads to broader identity theft as criminals sell your data to other fraud rings. Multiple accounts can be compromised, even ones not directly accessed at the ATM. Many victims report spending years dealing with credit monitoring and repeated fraud attempts. Protecting yourself starts with knowing the red flags. During physical ATM inspection, look for card readers that appear different or loose. The keypad should never feel thick, spongy, or have unusual resistance. Check for extra attachments or components that don't match the rest of the machine. Scratches or adhesive residue around card slots are major warning signs something has been tampered with. Watch for behavioral red flags too. Be wary of people loitering near ATMs without using them, especially if they're watching others enter PINs. Be suspicious if someone offers unsolicited help with ATM problems. Unusual maintenance during odd hours or multiple people returning to the same ATM repeatedly are signs something might be wrong. Transaction warning signs include the ATM keeping your card longer than normal, screens displaying unusual messages or errors, keypads requiring extra pressure to register numbers, or receipts showing different locations than expected. To avoid becoming a victim, always perform a pre-ATM inspection. Visually check the entire machine before inserting your card. Physically wiggle the card reader to ensure it's firmly attached and not an overlay. Look for hidden cameras, particularly in areas directly above the keypad. Whenever possible, choose ATMs inside bank branches rather than isolated locations. Practice safe PIN entry by covering the keypad with your other hand while typing. Stand close to the machine to block camera angles from various directions. Use your body to shield PIN entry from potential onlookers. Never accept help from strangers with ATM problems. Go inside the bank instead. Be strategic about ATM selection. Use bank-owned ATMs inside branches whenever possible. Avoid standalone ATMs in isolated locations like parking lots or gas stations. Skip any ATM with handwritten signs or tape attached to the machine. Choose well-lit, high-traffic locations where tampering would be more difficult. Finally, monitor your accounts vigilantly. Check your balance immediately after any ATM use. Set up real-time transaction alerts through your bank's app. Review statements weekly instead of monthly to catch unauthorized transactions quickly. Report any suspicious activity within 24 hours to maximize protection under federal banking regulations. Remember, this scam didn't rely on hacking bank systems. It relied on invisible technology and your trust in familiar machines. These criminals made millions because people never thought to inspect ATMs they'd used hundreds of times before. The best defense is knowing what to look for. If this helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more fraud protection content. Drop a comment if you've ever noticed anything suspicious at an ATM. Click the next video to learn about the latest credit card skimming tricks. Stay protected out there.